If you're a fan of giant robots, Transformers: Age of Extinction is a movie you won't want to miss. The Transformers series was a huge hit, and because it was so successful, the series kept coming out. And at some point, it became a movie that was no longer exciting. It was exciting just to see a giant robot that was as tall as a building, and since then, there have been a lot of hero movies, and the giant robot itself has become nothing special. Add to that the fact that the story was a bit weird and didn't have a sense of continuity, and I think that's why it failed at the box office. Still, it would be a shame to give up on such a successful series, so we did a reboot. In the case of the spin-off, Bumblebee, I didn't even think about watching it because I wasn't that attracted to it. And even now I don't really watch it, even if it's on cable or something. It means that it lacked something that attracted me. I didn't have high expectations for this one either, and I could feel that feeling in the theater. I felt like the theaters weren't really pushing this movie, probably because they don't have high hopes for the box office. It's got a good reputation, it's got a good fan base, but they don't show it very often. But, strangely enough, there were quite a few students in the theater. Usually, you can tell if a movie is going to do well by how many people see it on the first day. I don't think it's going to be ruined by a moderate number of people seeing it, but that doesn't mean a lot. This time, it's Beast, as the title says. It's a movie about cars turning into robots, and I think that's probably the biggest thing that made it a hit. It's fun to imagine that the car that you're driving is going to be a robot one day. On the one hand, we're gradually being replaced by electric cars. The robots in the movie are all petroleum-powered, which makes me wonder what will happen to the Transformers when electric cars become the norm. I wonder if they'll actually turn out to be electric cars in the first place. As soon as the movie starts, there's a species of Maximal, and they all look like animals that we see on Earth. Unicron, the absolute evil, sends Scudge to destroy the planet where the Maximal are, and the team, including Optimus Prime, hides out on Earth to prevent the transwarp from being taken away. Prime looks like a gorilla, more like King Kong than anything else. And the transwarp is a crucial tool that allows Unicron, who is currently imprisoned, to get out into the world, so it must never be taken away. And so many years later, we are in the present. Here, the present is 1994 in the movie. I remember when I watched Transformers, it was about an army of robots and humans working together, and in this movie, Optimus Prime doesn't have a positive view of humans, he doesn't trust them. He distrusts them, and I think that's because it's set in 1994. It's a giant robot movie, but it's weird if you don't have humans in it, and maybe if you don't have humans in it, it shouldn't be a live-action movie, it should be an animated movie. Noah Anthony Ramos is a military veteran who is now trying to get a job because his brother is currently struggling with an illness. Elena Dominique Fishback, an intern at a museum, stumbles upon an old statue that she thinks must be something amazing, and while investigating it, the statue's entire exterior comes off, revealing a transwarp. It emits a light that is invisible to humans, revealing its existence to the giant robots and Scourge on Earth. At this point, Noah is tempted to steal a car because he's broke, and he gets into one, which turns out to be Mirage, one of the Autobots. When the Autobots get together, they inevitably bring Noah along with them. When asked for help, Noah goes to the museum to get a transwarp and meets Elena, and they end up together. It's kind of weird that Noah has a rather sudden sense of mission to save the planet, because the only way to save the planet is to protect another transwarp. But at least Elena gets to see ancient objects in person. In terms of the movie itself, humans don't seem to be that important in some ways. Because it feels a little forced to have humans in the movie, because even without them, it doesn't seem that important to the story. It's kind of hard to relate to Noah when he says things like, "We'll see," to Scudge because he's such a giant robot, and there's nothing a normal human can do. As soon as I thought about that, it was kind of cool, but also kind of funny, because unlike previous Transformers, Noah turns into an Iron Man-like figure. To be fair, the first museum scene was pretty fun, but it got a little less tense when Maximal reappeared, which is when the real battle started. It's impressive how fast Maximal can move even though he's a gorilla. I always find Prime's speech a little creepy, like how he can say things like that naturally. I don't know if it's okay because he's a robot or if it's embarrassing because he's a human. This is a reboot that started a new series. I'm not sure if the series will continue.